Morning, Joe and the Pro. It's Friday, my last show for a week. Marco D'Angelo will be hosting next week as I will be skiing in Whistler. Bryan Leonard today, first time ever on Morning Joe, dude. And you look so alert and awake, so ready to go. I mean, give us some stride jumps or something.
I don't think I've been on the show before because I don't drink coffee. And that's what it is. And probably it's just why I look like shit right now.
Why do you not drink coffee?
I just have never liked the smell of coffee. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. My mom used to drink it, but my wife drinks it. I don't. But, the wife drinks all that flavored shit. And so it's really not coffee. I don't know. Put some flavoring in the.
I don't like that stuff. Hazelnut, coffee, vanilla. No.
Yeah, she does. All that.
So I'm wearing my most favorite shirt in the closet. Take a look. Can you read it?
So go fuck yourself.
Bryan, this is a YouTube channel. What the hell, man?
I wasn't reading your shirt. I was just telling you what I felt.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes everything okay. Anyway, what's up for today's show? I got to tell you a little bit about last night. We got to talk about what's going on at WagerTalk.com. And then you and I are going to take apart, mostly you, are going to take apart all four games tonight. I won't actually be watching any of them. I'm going to a concert tonight. Every 6 to 8 times a year, a band comes through Toronto. They're just a bunch of studio musicians, and they play classic albums live. So last time they came through, they played Breakfast in America and one other Supertramp album. Tonight they are playing The Last Waltz. Do you remember that concert?
Is that the band?
Yeah.
That's before my time.
Highly unlikely, but good try. I
don't even know a single song by the band. Honestly, that's
up on Cripple Creek. She sent me if I sprang a leak. You don't know that song?
You better quit singing that thing. You'll have to pay somebody some money.
What about Take a Load Off Annie?
Okay, now I know why I don't like the band.
Okay. Touche. So yeah, I won't be watching any of the games tonight, but I have a 5% play up tonight. And it does pose a little bit of a problem because I will be refreshing my cell phone screen all night while at the concert, and it might definitely affect my blowjob later.
I don't know how to answer that, but I'll tell you one thing. Just tell me what the 5% play is, and I won't. I promise not to tell anybody. What was it?
$30. Head over to WagerTalk.com. No promos today, bro. Tony's got a 5% play tonight as well. Me and him are on different plays. You've got a baseball play up at the site. Look at the hair in your picture, dude. Not that we should talk about pictures because my picture's 15 years old. But your picture has to be at least 10 years old.
No, actually, that's a new picture. Kelly told me I needed a new picture, so she hired
last year
to come in. And that's why Ralph Michaels has got a little bit different picture. They used a few of them. Some of the guys must not have looked as good, so I don't know. But mine's a newer picture.
Yeah, I really like your hair there, dude.
Thank you.
Anyway, huge freaking night last night, man. Marco came into the big dance last night on a 9-1 March Madness run. 9-1. Guy had a 5-unit play up on Gonzaga. Now he's 10-1. And I went 4-1 in my bets last night. I won both my March Madness plays. I had the under in the Michigan game, easy, and I had Oregon, not as easy, but easy enough. And I won my first baseball play, and it was a sweat, dude. I'm texting with Tony, and I'm like, I can't put up with 6 months of this. I'm on under 8.5 in the Pittsburgh game. It's 1-0 at the end of the 5th inning. It's 2-1 at the end of the 6th. It's 5-2 at the end of the 7th. It's 5-3 in the 8th. Gets to the 9th, bases loaded, 2 outs, and we got him on like the 12th pitch. I almost didn't make it to March Madness. I was having a freaking conniption fit.
Yeah, I didn't. I won my top play yesterday. Also, I had the Detroit Tigers a $140, $125 I believe. But that was a game 0-0 for the longest time. Goes into extra innings, and they win 2-0. Who would have thought that game would have been 0-0 with the guys that had on the mound to start that game?
Well, and Zimmerman, I think it was, almost pitched a perfect game.
Yeah, he pitched very well. Here you got a dog in the background.
My dog's called Vegas. Vegas! And now she's probably quiet. Yeah, great name though, I think. Yeah, so good. We're both started the baseball season 1-0. Nicely done. Okay, bro, let's get to it. No promos today, guys. Remember, I'm not doing Puck Time next week. Alex B. Smith is hosting it. And I'm not doing Morning Joe next week. Marco D'Angelo is hosting. Tonight, let's start with the Michigan State game. Michigan State versus LSU. -6.5. The over and under is 149.5, which seems to be a pretty large number for a team in green. What do you like in this game?
Well, I didn't give out any plays for my clients today because the lines have moved out of whack. I did have a bet in on Michigan -6, and I also played the over here. This is one of those games, and our friend, VR, always likes to sprinkle a little bit on these games, when he plays the underdog and all. This is one of those games, because of the 3-point shooting here, where if LSU can cover the spread, I think LSU can win this game.
Right.
It's a situation when you take a look at, shooting 3-pointers, Michigan only holds opponents to 31.5%. LSU doesn't shoot many 3-pointers, which is a good thing for Michigan State in this game. So LSU is going to want to take the ball inside. At the rim, they shoot 40.3% of their shots at the rim. So they're a team that likes to take it to the rim, but both of these teams defend the rim very well. So that's going to be an interesting thing here. And when you take a look at, rebounding, both teams, Michigan State's 24th in the country in offensive rebound rate, LSU number 9. That's one of the reasons why I kind of like the over, especially when you take a look at LSU ranks 265th in defensive rebounding. So they pound the boards really well offensively, but defense, they don't get there.
So strange.
Michigan State in that case, should have plenty of opportunities on second chances.
Yeah, I got no opinion on this game. I think the number is high though. I wouldn't be against betting the first half under, and if this game does go over, I think it'll go over with late fouls. I mean, the line is -6.5. So if the bookmakers are right, we should get a full minute of fouling.
Well, the thing is, from the Michigan State standpoint, they're only 45th in the country in fouling. They don't foul a lot defensively. So that may be because they got the lead most of their games.
Yeah, but, LSU is the team that's going to do the fouling.
Yeah, LSU is 208th in defensive foul rate. So they do some fouling. So if Michigan State's up, take a look at their free throw shooting. If they're a pretty good free throw shooting team, you get those points there. So that's always something. I talked to Marco about this the other day. We argued about normally in college basketball, if you get 7 points or less, that's when you get your fouling. But we were seeing tournament games where the line is 12, and I said they're going to foul them. This is their last chance on national TV. They don't want to leave the court. And, we lost a couple of totals in that regard because of that.
Well, we see it every year, though, Brian. I mean, it's shocking to me. I remember last week, I can't remember which team, but one team was actually down by 12, and I think there were like 16 seconds left, and they fouled, and I'm sitting with my buddies, and I'm like, what is the plan here? Yeah. Like, how could they possibly make a comeback? But Maybe it's what you're saying. Maybe they just want more TV time. UNC tonight hosting Auburn. This is going to be a great basketball game. Up and down the court, three-pointers, inside play, inside, outside play. 160 the line came out at, over and under. It's been bet up to 165. It's a massive move. UNC is favored by -5.5, and I mean that line has been sitting there. It hasn't wavered, and it's literally 5.5 across all books, to my knowledge. You know, Auburn put up a monster against Kansas, 89-75. North Carolina, I mean, they might as well have not shown up for their first two games. Neither were even close. And at any point, I mean, 81-59 blowout against Washington. This North Carolina team isn't tested yet. Do you think that's going to be factored in here? And, you know, with Auburn having that huge escape in the first round?
Yeah, unfortunately, I had the opposition to advance in that one on a straight-up bet, but it did come in for me on the point spread, which is nice. But, yeah, this is one of those games where I think Auburn actually has a chance to win this one straight up. You take a look at Auburn, they shoot 49.7%. Basically, half of their shots are from three-point range, and North Carolina allows 43.4%. So North Carolina's a team that will let these teams take their shots from long range, and Auburn's very good at it, 38.2%. So Auburn's going to be shooting these threes. North Carolina is a team that doesn't really attack the rim that much. 31.8% of their shots are at the rim. Teams that shoot the ball in the mid-range, I don't like. And I've been against Tennessee a lot this year. And, you know, yesterday I didn't have a play on it, but we saw Tennessee didn't advance on that. You take a look at North Carolina. North Carolina shoots 32.6 of their shots from mid-range. Auburn only 16.1. So I like the teams that shoot from three-point range and then shoot it at the rim. I don't want those mid-range shots.
Yeah, the jump shots, especially in college basketball.
Yeah, they're low-efficiency shots. And so you got one team in Auburn that doesn't take those, and you got one in North Carolina that does. And that's the concern I have for North Carolina here. Sure, there's going to be a lot of easy baskets going up and down. The Auburn coach said to play the over, and he was right. And, you know, at the time, it was a good bet. Now, at the number it is, I don't know if I could play it at this number.
It's hard.
It is. When the line moves 4 points like that.
But, you know, well, not only that. I mean, not only have you lost 5 points of value, and there's even 165.5s now out there. It's just such a giant number. I mean, even with Tennessee and Purdue, they needed overtime to get over this number. And those two teams couldn't stop scoring. You know, again, I think you take the under in the first half and maybe wait and see if you can get 10 points back in value on a second half over. I can't bring myself to bet such a large number. There's probably been a couple of NBA games this year that didn't hit that number.
I'll tell you, we talked about the rebound percentage on offense in the last game. We'll talk about it here. North Carolina ranked 16th in the country, Auburn 58th, which is both pretty good. But when you take a look at the defensive rebound, huge advantage for North Carolina here. 6th in the country, Auburn 333rd.
Yeah, but that's also related to the three-pointers, right? So, you know, Auburn's playing, you know, further out. I mean, their style of offense is, you know, doesn't lend them to offensive rebounds.
Well, no, the offensive, they do pretty well. They're 6th
it's
50.
defense.
It's the defensive rebounds.
What is wrong with these kids?
So, you know, North Carolina's going to have plenty of opportunities to score. You know, I would look for the over before I look for the under. But I think with the variance of Auburn shooting those threes and doing it so well, being able to get so many of them, if I was to play this game at this point, I'd probably take Auburn on the money line.
He's Bryan Leonard. I'm the Prez. Bryan is found at WagerTalk.com every day. Truly one of the best baseball handicappers we have. Awesome in college basketball. Couldn't tell you what a puck looks like or what color it is.
But I win. I just started handicapping hockey last year. I had a winning season last year, a winning season this year.
Dude, I don't know this. Why are you never on Puck Time? Tell us about your hockey.
It's just something I look at, and I rarely put out a play. I'll put out maybe 2 plays a week. I'm not your hockey expert. I just have the ability to be able to pick out the winners. And to me, I was talking about somebody yesterday, and I didn't, unfortunately, I didn't give this out to my clients, but 2 nights ago I used Dallas on the road plus 140. They had dominated the opposition on the road. I believe they played San Jose 2 days ago, or Calgary or somebody.
Calgary is the game
Calgary.
you're talking about.
But Calgary is so much a better team overall. But they've gone on the road and they've been able to beat these teams. Dallas goes in there and I think they won 5 out of 6 in that spot. And I said, you got to take them at this. And sure enough, they win that game outright again. And it's just a lot of common sense things in hockey. I know, when you take a look at the luck factor in sports, hockey's the most lucky out of all of them. And if you watch a hockey game with the puck bouncing around, you can see that. But I'm enjoying my hockey handicapping, man. I don't put out a lot of them, but I've been winning.
Well, next time you put out some hockey plays, why don't you email me and we'll talk about it on Puck Time. Let's get back to it, dude. Duke, after a scare last week, probably the most exciting game so far in the tournament, maybe that and that Auburn first rounder. Duke's lucky to be in this spot right now, Brian. I mean, there were really 2 missed layups at the end of that game, which would have taken Duke out of the tournament. And I was cheering for that to happen. I mean, I didn't have a vested interest in that game. And man, I think it would have been classic. Because Duke is not only the best team in college basketball right now, this Duke team is historically good. It would have been awesome to see them lose, but they didn't. And now they're -7 against Virginia Tech. The over and under is 143. I mean, Virginia Tech barely gets into the 70s. That number is pretty high to me. Duke, low 70 team. I don't know what to do here. My gut feeling is telling me it's Duke. And I think it's because of the scare that they had, and they're going to be super focused and focused very early in this game. I like Duke -7.
I tend to disagree with you when you're saying that Duke is the best team out there right now. I think Gonzaga and Virginia are just as good as Duke. I like Virginia Tech a little higher number. I played a little higher number earlier in the week. The line is coming down, but Virginia Tech is a team that allows the opposition to shoot over 50% of their shots from three-point range. But Duke not only doesn't shoot a lot of three-pointers, they're a lousy three-point shooting team, 30.7 on the season. What Duke wants to do is take the ball down low. They shoot 41% of their shots at the rim, but Virginia Tech only allows 27.7% shots at the rim. So you got a Duke team that wants to do a certain thing, and Virginia Tech won't let them. They got a thing that Virginia Tech wants Duke to do, and Duke won't do it. So it's an interesting game from that standpoint. I had that talk earlier in the week, and I asked people, I said, what's your feelings on Duke now? Do you think the public's going to come back on Duke, thinking that they got lucky, they got that out of the way, and now they're going to come back and play a good game? Or do you think that people are going to realize, hey, Duke is beatable. They're not the most outstanding team we've seen. So, I liked Virginia Tech at 7.5. We see that again. I like that. But
there's no 7.5s up right now. Straight 7. And listen, I get what you're saying. I mean, I think, Virginia Tech is going to come in thinking, yes, we could beat this team. I mean, we beat Liberty. If we could beat Liberty, we could beat Duke.
Before too, but that wasn't.
I mean, I have a shirt. If we could beat Liberty, we could beat Duke.
You have that shirt? Maybe you should have stood up and wore that shirt today.
Yeah, Bry. I don't know, dude. I don't know if Virginia Tech can hang with this team, bro. I mean, Duke's inside play, and we're talking about mid-range jump shots. Zion can hit those too, dude. Barrett, this Duke team is mean, and the problem I think Virginia Tech has is they're getting them off of that scare. I think if Duke had ran through whoever they played last week, I can't even remember, UCF with that 7'6" guy. If Duke ran through UCF, I would lean more towards Virginia Tech, but I think Duke's going to really keep their foot on the pedal from the beginning of the game to the end. What do you think over and under wise? It's a big number for a Virginia Tech game.
It's hard to predict what these teams are going to do here because, like I said, Virginia Tech wants the other team to shoot 3-pointers. They allow 3-pointers to be shot, but Duke doesn't want to take them. So it's too uncertain on the total for me. And you had mentioned if Duke would have ran through UCF, this line wouldn't be sitting at 7; it'd be sitting at 8.5. So we'll see how this works out. But Duke is beatable. I don't got anything other than my 7.5 bet on Virginia Tech. So if you got Duke, I'll root for you to win straight up. But this is a tough game for me.
Yeah, I don't have Duke, but I do have a 5-unit play tonight. You guys can figure out which game it's on. Go ahead. Kentucky. Kentucky coming into the tournament. Nobody expected that much from them, and here they sit playing Houston. They're minus 2.5. It went to 3 yesterday. It has come back down a little. 133.5 is the total. This Houston team is deadly. 33-3 on the entire year. Kentucky 29-6, but not the Kentucky of old. Where are you going in this game?
You don't think anything was expected out of Kentucky coming into this tournament? They were a number 2 seed.
They weren't. People were not talking Kentucky up. It wasn't like Kentucky's going to win this thing. And just so you know, Brian, in case you can't figure out math, they're 4 number 2 seeds. The way they
top 8 teams in the country.
The way they seed teams in this tournament is so utterly idiotic. There's 4 number 1 seeds and 4 number 2 seeds, making one of those number 2 seeds actually team 8.
One is 8 and one is 5.
Right. Which one's Kentucky?
Well, Duke was the number 1 overall, I believe. So that area was 5. So they're either 6, 7, or 8, depending on how you go from there.
Okay, well, there you go. What do you like in this game, brother?
If P.J. Washington shows and plays tonight, I like Kentucky. Problem is, I don't know if he's going to play or not. And then when he is announced that he's going to play, you're not going to get the current number that you have right now. This Houston team was a moneymaker for me this season. And a lot of that may have been just because of the bad conference they play in. But Houston dominated in that conference. This is a team that's very good at a lot of things they do. We talk about the free throw rate. This is a team in Kentucky that gets to the foul line. They're 14th in the country in free throw rate. If they could get Houston in foul trouble, Kentucky's got that shot. But it's a concern. Both teams offensive rebounding. Kentucky's 7th, Houston 21st. Defensive rebounding, they're also very good defensive rebounding teams, 51st and 60th. So this is a game, whoever can dominate inside will have the advantage. You got a Houston team who doesn't take a lot of shots at the rim, only 27.3%. It's a tough game for me to handicap, to be totally honest with you. Kentucky's not a team that shoots 3-pointers. That's always a concern for me. I want teams to be able to come back late in the game and shoot those 3-pointers if you fall behind, but they're not one to do it, even though Houston will let you shoot those 3-pointers at 41.4%. So this is a game I just don't know how it's going to be played out, so it's tough for me to handicap.
He's Bryan Leonard on the Prez. Morning Joe and the Pro in the bag. Brian, you did awesome today. You will not be red carded. I'll save that for shitty guests.
Is that a soccer thing?
No, it's baseball. When the umps walk up to the catcher and red card him.
What?
Soccer, you idiot.
I don't follow soccer. I live in the United States.
Soccer's huge in the United States.
Not betting soccer unless you're from a foreign country.
Hey, Bri. Carmine sells more soccer than half our handicappers sell everything.
Carmine is good at soccer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like you, he doesn't tell me what his plays are. So,
well, dude, go get an access to our website. You're part of the family.
I haven't been offered that. I'm just a peon handicapper. I'm not one of the owners.
I just offered it to you. So get up your ass and email Missy and tell her. But yeah,
All right, man.
You should be betting Carmine's soccer, but also, dude, Kyle Anthony's UFC. 69% in 14 months of betting that sport with us, and nothing bigger than a minus 190 favorite. That's just ridiculous numbers. But
Yeah.
all our periphery guys are world class. I mean, Brady Cannon in golf.
Oh,
Uh,
he's great at golf.
yeah, like all the guys that just do those very specialized sports are phenomenal. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, dude. In 2 weeks, we'll get you a regular spot on our baseball show, First Pitch. And enjoy tonight. I will be singing the band for you. Up on
Right.
Cripple Creek. Okay.
You sing it to the band. I think they'll appreciate it more than your listeners right here.
My listeners love me, Bri, except for the ones that don't. See you later, buddy.
Good point. Take care, everyone.